What's up everybody, my name is Felipe and today I'm going to be sharing some updated information on the DJI Ronin S. But first, let me put this coffee down. So if you're interested in this type of content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also find me on Instagram at FelipeOlvera_M. And without further ado, let's get started. So in the midst of single-handed gimbal competition, last week DJI released at CES 2018 their first single-handed gimbal, the Ronin S. Being that there's been a lot of demand from companies like Zwiin and Moza, we all knew that this was inevitable to happen and that DJI would step into the market. However, there's still a few questions that were left unanswered at the event, and so what I've done is some research to break down and simplify this information for you all. So first, let's talk about Payload. So in the preview video and some images, we can see that where the DJI Ronin S was holding a Canon 5D Mark IV and a 24-70 L-series lens, and on another DJI Ronin S, there was a Sony a7 series camera with a 24-70. So based off of these specifications, we can safely assume that DJI is going to release two models or two options, one that's going to be able to hold anything under 4 pounds, and then another one's going to be hold something or setups between 4 and 7 pounds. Because other competitors like the Crane 2, the V2, Moza Air, and Aircross, we can definitely see where DJI is trying to step into the market to compete with these products. So second, let's talk about design features. One thing that was repeated over and over at CES was that the Ronin S had a 45-degree angle at the pan arm, or the entire setup sat above the roll axis. This is definitely a nice feature which allows for the screen to be seen, whereas other cranes like the Crane 2 and the Moza Air, the Crane V2, all block access to the on-screen monitor. So if you're in a run and gun shooter or situation, viewing the screen monitor is essential because not only you're trying to see what you're capturing, but you want to keep the setup as simple as possible. For example, you don't want to add extra monitors or attachments, etc. Also, having the 45-degree angle lets you go from low to high angles with ease. However, I'm a bit curious to see how this works because if you're trying to do an underhand shot or a 180-degree shot, the arms look a little short, so this may be a potential problem in the future. So we'll have to see how DJI works that out. So some quick features are the trigger, and this is something that can be seen in the Osmo. So if you were to double tap the trigger, it would recenter. If you triple tap, it would activate selfie mode, and if you were to hold down, it would activate locked mode. So that way the camera follows the tilt movements, but not the pan. And then you have your normal mode, which follows all of your movements. The Ronin S has another feature is that the quick release mount, which is definitely a must if you're going from a tripod to a gimbal, or if you're just trying to do a quick running gun setup. However, what it looks like is that the current quick release setup is a DJI proprietary or exclusive, and it's not an Arca Swiss style, which is kind of unfortunate because that's one of the most widely used quick release mounts. So it would have been nice to have an integrated or ecosystem that was pretty much universal. So other than that, that's pretty much it for the gimbal itself. But now let's talk about the ergonomic grip, which will be removable from the gimbal for quick running gun setups or shooting. And you could also remove the two so that way you could mount into a RC buggy and potential future accessories that DJI is going to release. So on the grip, there's also two 8-pin connectors to attach a DJI Focus Command Unit, which at the time of this video has been announced, which will not be included in the packaging. So we could have assumed this due to DJI's business model with the DJI Osmo system, where they had ridiculously overpriced accessories, but we'll have to see if they price accordingly to allow for these accessories. Also on the grip, there's going to be a 1/4" 20 on the bottom, so that way you can attach a tabletop tripod. This is really nice because it makes it really like an easier quality of life, so that way you can balance the gimbal, set it down and pick it up, so that way you could attach it to a whole bunch of other things, and it also gives it more room, so that way you can have a better grip, so that way if you're like hanging outside of a car, or if you're just doing a jib shot, it makes it a lot easier, and it distributes the weight so that way it's not as tiring, because on the Crane 2 it definitely becomes over time, if you're not used to it, it makes your hands really tired. So that's pretty nice. DJI has said that they're going to try and include the tabletop tripod, so you know, it saves you a little money. And I feel like it's kind of like become the standard now. Like we need something like that to come with the product, so that way we're not having to spend extra $100, you know. But other than the tabletop tripod, it also, you know, it allows the 1/4-inch female mount, allows you, so that way you can have other accessories. So it just becomes versatile. It becomes a versatile product. On the handle, the joystick's going to be similar to the DJI Mavic, but I'm not too sure if the length is a great idea, because I could easily see it being broken while traveling, and then other people did as well on the DJI Mavic, which is why why companies sold or people 3D printed DJI Mavic transport clips. That way, if you were to transport it, it doesn't the little joysticks don't get hit or anything like that. So other than those kind of concerns, I'm really excited for these great features and excited to see how this all works out. So I've already mentioned a little bit about modes, but as far as buttons and settings, this could be a record button, a still photo button, where you half press to focus and then full click to take a picture. Not sure if that's going to record or work in video, but if it does, that'd be pretty sweet. And so the technology inside is pretty similar to the DJI Ronin 2. So there's going to be 3 smooth track modes, 1 default, and then 2 customizable, with which can be set from the C1 and C2 buttons. And there's also going to be 1 sport mode, which can be activated by holding down the the M button until it turns yellow, and then you can also deactivate it. So you just hold down the M button until it turns not yellow. And I'm kind of curious to see how the power it down situation works, because I saw a video where someone powered it down and the camera just went dead, whereas, you know, other companies have done it to where when you power it down, it just slowly releases it. But we'll see how that works out. And as far as cameras, which cameras of Ronin S will work, it should work with most, but they're still working on getting the protocols for Sony and Panasonic. So it may be a situation with the Crane 2 where the follow focus works only with Canon cameras for a moment. And as far as pricing, they said it under $1,000, which I interpret as $700 for the base product without the DJI Command focus unit. So I'd budget another $300 for that, and the handlebars, which they said they're going to be releasing, which in my opinion doesn't really make the Ronin S as appealing, because you could get a Crane 2 which has a follow focus for about $800. So if you're having to spend $1,100 for the entire thing, that may be, you know, $300 goes a long way. It's another lens, it's lights, that's, you know, there's just a whole bunch of other things that you could put into that. So we're gonna see how that works out. But that's all I have for now. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and then connect with me on Instagram at felipe_m. Stay tuned. Peace.